And this item was the review of the procedures for commissions and committees and boards.
I wanted to take this opportunity to interject some changes to the commission appointment process and for us to consider. And I understand that on one of these we may need to go through changing the ordinance as well that pertains to the Planning Commission. So I'm going to start.
If you can, on who actually has the appointment power. We have to deal with a section of state law and an ordinance that are in effect that give the mayor that power. So I'm looking at your notes. I realize that may come into play.
Right.
And I'm not quite certain about people having to come from certain districts either. So what we want to do is drill down into that after this discussion. Mm-hmm. And if we're going to go in that direction, we want to make sure that it's going to end up being valid. Because I didn't see this till tonight. So
right, and this was something that I worked on starting today after listening to a lot of residents' concerns and then getting information about other cities, how they do this once they break into districts. And a lot of cities actually make the changes to the Planning Commission appointment when they make the decision to go to district electoral voting. Hold this, is our city no longer follows the at-large system of government. Currently, the city uses the district-based form of legislative government, and appointments are made to all city commissions and boards that require citizen participation are currently unbalanced. For example, the Planning Commission has about 5 members living in District 2, and 2 of the applicants on today's agenda that were nominated, at least one of them belonged in District 2. So that gives a clear advantage and increases the possible influence from District 2. People know that where you live, if there are major changes to the land use in your district, you are going to be much more concerned than if something is happening on the other side of the city that doesn't affect you day to day. So that's why I believe very strongly that we should have one planning commissioner from each district appointed.
I'm missing here a cheat sheet.
The appointment made by the council member, which should require the applicant reside in the district where the council member represents. This applicant would serve at the will of the council member who nominated them. The final approval requires the majority vote of the council. The concept is to provide for term limits and to provide for district selections by council members. At this point, my motion is to
Would you like to table this until we can work
Yeah,
that
because
out?
I didn't get to read
Lot of
this,
stuff
and I
and-
don't think
Right,
it's
right,
fair
right.
to
Okay,
make
so I
that
move-
decision.
Well, let's
I
move
move
to
that we
table.
put this on the agenda at the next meeting.
Just a moment. Yes, Carrie?
If I can make a suggestion.
Sure.
The intent at this time of the resolution was to clean up some language and also to change the schedule to a quarterly schedule because of all the cancellations and members of the committees holding time on their calendar that wasn't necessary. So if you could make those approvals tonight and update the resolution, and before any more appointments come in June, when the next expirations come, we could address the districting and the changes to the ordinance and bring that back at a later date.
Right. So.
And in addition, of course, we've got the appointment power is governed by state law and ordinances, so you're changing that. It may be you get a nomination from the districts and then the mayor appoints on that basis. In other words, if you want to change the criteria but right now we have a state law provision that gives the mayor the appointment power and a statute in your code. So we'll come back with it and try to see what can be done which couldn't be done tonight.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is make a motion that we put this on the agenda at an upcoming meeting.
Okay.
So,
Mayor Pro Tem Elliott, this is going to take a little bit of time to get through it. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. And it sounds to me like, well, I don't say anytime soon, but not right away back to the council for review. But as Carrie indicated, the appointments, in June? Is when
June is the next round of expiring terms. Yes.
Right. So we have a little bit of time to work on this and bring it back to you. But what we've asked you to do tonight is approve this so that we can allow people that are on these committees right now to know that we're going to a quarterly basis. If we need to do a special meeting in between the regularly scheduled meeting, then we'll reach out to them to get that on their agenda. But it would be helpful for those committee members, that's what I heard, to know that this is a more realistic schedule of meetings than we presently have.
I definitely will make that motion, and I'm supportive of it. I will vote yes on that. So I just wanted to, since this was on here, to make sure that we can come back to that. And we never know when a vacancy is going to come up.
Right.
So as long as we don't know when a vacancy is going to come up, I'm not in a hurry on this, but I'd like it at the next reasonable date to
Right.
bring this up and put it on the agenda.
And we have to kind of think about it a little bit. I mean, there
Right.
might need to be flexibility put in the recommendations to allow the council member to appoint somebody that maybe not in their district, but maybe they're not getting people to volunteer for that position. So you want to be able to have that flexibility. It's still an appointment by that council member for his or her district, but maybe that person, maybe there's nobody in the district that has the time to provide to that type of a commitment. Or there may be other things that we might want to consider. The transition schedule, if we were going to go that way, how would we implement a transition schedule? So there's quite a bit of
there's a lot to it.
items
I
that
definitely
we need to
agree.
really drill into and work with the attorney's office to make sure that they're done appropriately.
Absolutely. I just want to make sure I'm on the record for a request to put this on an agenda at our next reasonable, and if it takes 2 months, 3 months, I'm good with that. I just want this to be on an agenda in the future meeting.
All right, so we have a motion to approve item J. Do I have a second?
I'll second
Oh,
that.
wait, didn't I just make a motion to put this on a future agenda and
Yes.
nobody
But we're
seconded it?
You provided me with direction to do that.
Oh, okay, I got it. Say, I did make a motion, so I'll withdraw the motion. I'll just give you direction for that. Thank you. I'm
So
fine
we
with
All
do
right,
that.
so do I have a motion to